Head to Safeway this week and enjoy these amazing deals. Clip coupons from the weekly mailer or download them from the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Get Overjoyed Boutique Dozen Roses for $24.99. Hand-dipped Belgian chocolate-covered strawberries, 4 to 18 counts, start at $7.99 per package. USDA Choice Boneless Beef Top Sirloin Steak Value Pack or Boneless Beef Tri-Tip Roast Untrimmed Twin Pack, just $5.99 per pound member price. Visit Safeway.com for more details. See you in the aisles.
Welcome to the Going to Killing City podcast, a historical look at murder in Kansas City. Here are your hosts, Jamie Green and Alex Greenwood.
Welcome back, everybody. Season 2, Episode 2, Going to Killing City. Lots of great feedback about this episode. I had several people reach out and enjoyed this one. And we've got an update, which is just weird. I kind of feel like Jessica Fletcher here, Alex, where the John Maynard, breaking news. John Maynard found dead in his cell in the last 10 days. I have not heard a cause of death, but like I said, I feel a little strange that I bring him on the podcast and the dude drops dead.
You know, I want proof, though. Did they find his body, or is there a suspicious dog crate in the vicinity? You know what? That's terrible. But you know what? I don't care. That guy, wow, that guy, he deserved that. Well, it's amazing. When you texted me that, I was just staring at my phone saying, are you kidding me?
I know,
right?
What are the odds?
And I think I texted you and said, do you think he heard the show? Is that what killed him?
My opprobrium was what put him over the edge.
Because, man, it was brutal. Actually, she got worse from you than he did. But anyway.
Because he owned up to it.
He did. And
so
he did his time.
I'm not going to forgive him for it, but at least I can be like, okay, at least you realize you did. But anyway, we don't want anybody to die.
So my God.
We'll make fun of him, doing stupid shit. But to his fam, if anybody in the family is like, our condolences. Like, I would say, quite honestly, it's just what a waste of a life. There's, the guy spent 3/4 of his life behind bars. That's a shame. That's just, it's just a wasted opportunity. So. That's it. So the good.
Who let the dogs out? There's your update.
There's the breaking news. I will just say that I don't know what Alex is going to do, but if we get on a theme where people that we feature drop dead later, we may have to rethink the podcast. But anyway,
we may. Yeah, that's a lot of power, man. That's an awesome amount of responsibility.
I can smite, apparently. Or is it in past tense? Is it smote? I don't know.
You're not a Tolkien character or something. That's what it sounds like. But anyway.
So, folks, we're on a roll here, and this makes both my evil twin and myself very happy. This month's episode is brought to you by West Bottoms Whiskey Company. West Bottoms Whiskey
I can't believe it.
Is a whiskey distillery inspired in the spirit of innovation, optimism, and industrialization found in the historic West Bottoms district in Kansas City. Alex likes this place because the guy that owns and started this is also named Alex.
Good people named Alex.
Down in the West Bottom, super cool space. You get a chance to go down there. They've got a cocktail parlor room.
Oh, yeah.
Alex is a good dude. Every time I go, meaning Alex, the whiskey guy, not Alex.
Not me. I'm not.
He goes out every time I see him. That guy's working like a dog, man. I mean, he is just. It's a small operation. It's kind of a mom and pop shop. Really cool space, though. Check it out and tell him that we were there. So he also not only sponsored, but supplied the booze, which we
appreciated.
So yes,
Alex. Yeah. And speaking of, I was going to say though, It's on there. You can learn more on their website at westbottomswhiskey.co. And don't you even worry about it. It's going to be at killingcitypod.com in the show notes. But did you know, my friend, and sorry if I'm jumping ahead something you already knew, but they were voted in the pitch in 2021 best old fashioned in Kansas City.
I did not know that, but that's always I always tell people that if you're not you say, oh, I don't like whiskey. It's like having old fashioned, because that's kind of the entry, because it's very, the sweetness of it kind of offsets the whiskey. So that was Harry Truman's favorite drink, apparently.
Was that right? I did not know that. Well, we all love it. Given hell, Harry. It's at 1321 West 13th Street in Kansas City in the West Bottoms. If you've not been to the historic West Bottoms, it's funny where you mentioned this. I'm wearing my Rock Island Bridge T-shirt in honor of this, because it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away is the bridge that my buddy Mike Zeller, he had this dream 20 years ago to turn it into this bridge into a community space with restaurants and bars and stuff like that. You know, we got to, maybe once that thing gets rolling, dude, we got to see if we can do a show from the Rock Island Bridge, man. I bet we could swing that. What do you think?
Absolutely. Well, it's your buddy. You tell me.
Okay. Yeah. And maybe you could play there if you want. They have music.
I would love to. I have played in a cave. I have played on a streetcar. I have not played on a bridge yet. So I figure it's on my bingo card of gigs. So I would definitely do that. And also, since we're talking swag, which is stupid that we're both pointing out what we're wearing because this is audio and you don't know. A little shout out to my friend Wendy out in California, who got me this cool cap that says "True Crime" all the time. So,
all the time. I love that hat. That's very cool.
We promised you an update about our tour. It's moving. I know you're probably like, yeah, you told me that last month. But it is. I had a meeting today with the folks. They're the same people that do the gangster tour here in Kansas City, which if you have not done that, it's fabulous. Do it. We have gotten to a point that we have an agreement. We're going to do a test case where we're taking friends and family out here. So I promise next month in October, we will announce the date, the time, how to sign up, all that good stuff. But we're really looking, and they're very excited, and I think it's going to be really cool.
And I guess we should tell them though that it will not be in October. We'll just announce it in October, but it's looking like November. I mean, just to be, because everybody, it's a silly season this time of year is hitting. I mean, October is like my busiest month of the year. That's when I originally wanted to do it then. That and the weather's nice and crisp and it's not, you're not sweating and all that, but because you're running around looking at that stuff. But yeah, we'll get back to you about that. And I'm just so excited about that. And you know what? Our good friends with the tour that we're working with, you know, we may have to have them drop in on a show one of these days, because they could tell us some stories about some of the things they cover on their tour, you know, and we might, you know, if you're not careful, you might learn something.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Stay tuned. That's what I'm saying.
Stay tuned.
I feel like I'm on a roll here. Live taping up. We've had people say, hey, why don't you do like what you did at Buffalo State Pizza? And I'm like, because we're lazy and it takes time and effort and we don't want to. I mean, that's how we roll. But after your incessant whining, we have agreed to have a live tape. We will be at Scissors and Scotch in Corinth. Literally, I can walk there. Once again, you're realizing
stagger home.
What a lazy bastard I am. It's that close. We will be at Scissors and Scotch in Prairie Village on October 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. for another live taping. This is going to be Halloween themed, people. We're making this one, as we said, you know, with Tracy Jordan. This is going to be spooky, scary. And
spooky, scary.
It's a two-parter. We're going to leave you on a cliffhanger. So if you want to hear the whole story and you can't wait, you have to show up at Scissors and Scotch, October 16th. Yes, on the website, we will have all the deets on that. I've talked to them. They're going to try to have 3 or 4 of the drinks that we have featured in the last year and 3 months. So you can taste some of these cocktails. And I think we're going to do some pairings and some cool stuff and some giveaways again. So stay tuned for that. And we are very excited for that.
My goodness.
Caught up.
It's killingcitypod.com. Go there. There is a calendar of events right there on the page. I will have that updated by the time you hear this, which will have the information. We'll probably also have a separate post about the event. And I'll probably go ahead and put something in the public events about the tour. Just say November TBD, just so people can start thinking about that. But we'll do that. don't forget, though, you can sign up to get updates. Just go to killingcitypod.com. You can just scroll down, follow us on social. But I do believe you can sign up to follow the thing. My gosh, you'd think I would know that. Maybe I do.
You're
Maybe
a
I
marketing
don't.
guy.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Yeah, and you're doing all the work, which is hilarious.
That's what
as
marketing
usual.
people do, man.
Well, yeah, but I mean, right? Yeah, we just let the client do all the work. But no, it's great. So be sure to check that out, and we'll ramp up our social media a little bit too. But we're out there. But we want to hear from you. Don't forget that we love it when you just post a picture of a drink you're having. We don't care. It doesn't have to be the drink we're having. Post it on our Facebook page, or just show us what you're having. Maybe on a Friday night, or whatever. It's getting ready to be football season. Let's see what you got there. You got a Bloody Mary? Let's have a look at it, because we'll just say cheers to you over the virtuals. But I look forward to seeing everybody. I hope we had a tremendous crowd on our first one, and I mean, we really did.
Yeah.
I hope we can get people out there this time. I know, right?
They aren't even people we're related to, or we know. Like, these were just total strangers that showed up, which is awesome.
Yeah, but they came as strangers and left as friends.
Football season, which both of us is a huge time of year for us. So this is your time, Alex, to pronounce the three-peat. You're guaranteeing the three-peat right now. This is your chance.
You know what? I'm going to tell you this right now. I think the odds are better than 50%. I really do. I think there's about a 55% chance. I really do.
All right. Godspeed, John Glenn. It's never happened for those of you at home. That happened sometime. When the Cowboys were looking at their three-peat, and I said three-peat. So close. That entire season, I said three-peat. And Kelly still reminds me of this. So I hope it goes better for you than it did for me.
I only answered a direct question. I didn't volunteer that. This to be clear.
Hey, I'm on a high because we have a quarterback at the University of Nebraska, and this is making me incredibly happy.
I was at a thing Saturday night before my COVID vaccine kicked in and wiped me out for the whole weekend. But there were some Nebraska folks there just raving about this new QB on the Huskers, and I said, I thought of you, pal. I just thought of you. I thought, man, my evil twin deserves this. He's a diehard Husker fan. He deserves this. And I said this to them. I said, you know what? Oh, this is funny. Last thing about this, we also went to anyway, my wife and I were in Parkville bumming around, and they had an old wines club we used to be part of. They had all this there. Anyway, estate sale for it. They closed. So they had all the stuff in there except the booze, of course. And we were just looking at stuff, and a guy saw me with my OU cap, and he said, he was talking me about OU and our chances and all that. And I said, what do you think about that new Husker guy? He's an Iowa State guy. He goes, I try not to think about the Huskers very much. I said, oh, come on. What do you think? He goes, actually, yeah, because we stink. That's what he said. So he was thinking you guys are ascended. That's the word from a dude working in estate sale. I know that means a lot to you.
I'm just, it's so overdue. I'm not going to feel guilty at all if we're really good, because it has been a long time in the darkness. It has been horrible. They said during the game, then we'll really talk about the episode, that all last season, Nebraska did not have one game that they threw for over 200 yards in a game. And this kid, who is a true freshman, was playing in high school last year, had over 200 yards in 2.5 quarters. That's a huge upgrade. Has
there been some comparison to some pro players?
Yeah, he looks like somebody, doesn't he?
Well, all right, we'll see.
So to remind people, I know I say this every month, but we do have new listeners. We know this because we see the numbers. The whole construct of this podcast, and somebody asked me about this literally today, and I said, no, we don't actually cheat. We do not know what the other person's going to talk about. That's part of the fun of the reaction. One of us writes the episode, the other gives a hint. So Alex said last month, taking a liberty. That was my hint. And so I searched around. I almost thought about making the Liberty DeVito, but as you know, I'm not as good as you as a mixologist. So I'm going straight with just the Liberty. And again, this will be on the website, but I'm going to let you know this. It's 1.5 ounces, of course, of our West Bottoms whiskey.
Yes.
Go out, buy that from those folks. Tell Alex that we sent you. 1 ounce of vermouth, 3/4 ounce lime juice, 1/2 ounce pineapple juice, a little 1/2 ounce of simple syrup, which Alex will tell you how to make it without, you don't even have to go buy it, how to
so easy
yourself.
Yeah, so easy.
3 dashes, of course, of the Angostura. How do you say Angostura bitters? I know
Angostura. Yeah.
Thank you.
You got it.
I nailed it. And you lime it. You put a lime wheel on it. Kind of do a wagon wheel, but with a lime. It's yummy. I actually really enjoyed this. I'm drinking it as we speak. Pineapple juice with lime and a little simple syrup. It's a nice little taste. It's a yummy drink.
It's refreshing. It's a great way to complement the West Bottoms whiskey, which by the way, you can drink that stuff neat. It's delightful, but man, does it mix well with stuff like this. This is good. The Liberty. Yeah, I was just wondering where you go with this. And yeah, the Liberty, that's a great drink. I don't know the history on it. Do you know? Did they say?
It was on a website, and I look. You're okay. You just. It's like Wizard of Oz. You've just pulled the curtain away. I got on Google and searched Liberty cocktail whiskey.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. How did you? I don't know, man. That's great. We don't. When you make this drink, be sure to tag West Bottoms Whiskey Company, and don't forget their hashtag whiskey neat. Even if it's not a neat glass, I don't think they'll mind. But we'll make sure, like we tag all of our sponsors every month. We like to tag them, and we hope you'll do the same. And of course, shop with them. And if you go to westbottomswhiskey.co, you can find out where to buy. If you can't get down to the West Bottoms and you want to go buy this in your local liquor store, you can find out more on the website, or just go to your and you know what you should do? Ask for it by name. You should just ask your local purveyor of liquors, hey, I want some of that West Bottoms. And by the way, my friend, good choice on this drink. Have you had they've got the American blended malt whiskey, which I have, which is great. They've got their single malt, which is great. But you know what I've missed out on? They're sold out of? Their maple cask finished rye. Oh, that sounds so good,
especially in the fall.
Yeah, we got right. And we need to ask Alex if this is coming back. Now, here's the other one. What's your favorite variety of wine? I have one. What's yours?
I'm not a wine guy.
Okay, well, all right then. I'm
a wine guy with an H in it, but not just a regular.
Well, I like Malbec, and they had a Malbec finish bourbon, which is sold out as well. See, that's what happens when you miss staff meetings. You know how you don't miss it? Is you go to westbottomswhiskey.co, scroll down, and go to more small batch whiskeys coming soon. Listen to what I'm doing right here, my friend. I am typing in what?
West Bottom.
My email address. Okay. There, and I'm gonna submit there. They have my email address, and I am on their mailing list. I will not miss the new small batch whiskeys that are coming soon because I'm on their list. I hope you'll do the same. Again, we want to thank West Bottoms Whiskey Company. Dude, the Liberty. It is lip smacking good. Good choice.
All right, brother. It is. The floor is yours. Take it away.
All right. Well, we talk a lot about Kansas City's place in the annals of crime here on this show, Going to Killing City, and law enforcement as well. And today, I'll share yet another legendary example of the KC area's bloody criminal history. Something that eventually becomes, I think, something of a strand in Kansas City's DNA, like it or not. We are our own violence. We have to own it, and criminality, but also the law. So today, we're settling up and riding into one of the most infamous events in the history of the American Old West, the robbery of the Clay County Savings Association in Liberty, Missouri.
Aha!
You look a little surprised. I think you are a little.
Well, I was wondering, you know what I was actually, and somebody talked to me about this today, and they're like, is it a murder at Liberty Memorial? And I said, I don't know. But they were like, that's what they thought it might be. So people are trying to get, they're taking our hints, Alex, and trying to figure it out.
I love it. So, I love keeping everybody on their toes too. You and I both have fun with that. Well, this event marks one of the earliest bank heists in American history, and it set the stage for the legend of someone we have all heard of, a certain desperado called, quote, the worst man without any exception in America. His name, Jesse Woodson James. let's unravel the details and the aftermath of this audacious crime. And I'm drawing on both historical records and elements from Ron Hansen's novel, which became a movie, The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. And if you've not read this I'm holding up, you can't see it, my well-thumbed copy of this. This was a gift from my buddy Lucas, who's a listener in Evansville, Indiana. So he partially has inspired this, by the way. If you've not seen that film, it's a lengthy film, but it's Brad Pitt does a masterful job playing Jesse James. But anyway, it gives you a lot of insight into Jesse and his brother Frank and the Youngers and all that. Okay, so let's get to what happened, though. It's February 13th, day before Valentine's Day, 1866, in the quiet town of Liberty, Missouri. Now think about this. What just happened a year before? The Civil War ended, and the James brothers were not, in my opinion, on the good side of this. They were Confederate. They were rebels. Anyway, so in the quiet town of Liberty, Missouri, was forever changed on that date, February 13th, 1866. At the Clay County Savings Association, it was the first incorporated bank west of the Mississippi River, and it became the target of what is, here we go, ready, history, widely believed to be the first successful daylight bank robbery in American history. Right here in little old Liberty Town, just a hop, skip, and a jump from KC proper. The robbery was executed with military precision, which has led many historians to believe that the robbers were Confederate guerrillas still fighting their own version of the Civil War. And if you read this book or see that movie, you'll see a little bit of that. I happen to believe that the James gang really was. They were still fighting the Civil War. That's what led to their criminality. So the gang, which consisted of about a dozen men, rode into Liberty on horseback, and they just kind of blended in, waiting for the right moment to strike. Around 2 o'clock, they made their move. Entering the bank, 2 men approached the cashier, a man named George Wymore, and demanded the cash and gold. Well, initially, Wymore thought it was a prank, but when one of the men drew his pistol, the gravity of the situation became all too clear to him. So lots of back and forth going on, and eventually the robbers made off with an estimated $60,000 in cash, gold, and bonds. That's a staggering amount of money at that time. I mean, I didn't look it up what it would be in today's money, but I imagine it's mucho dinero. Well, as they left the bank, they fired their guns into the air to create chaos and ensure a swift getaway. They kind of rode off into what was becoming a snowstorm. Well, the aftermath of that robbery was devastating. A young student from William Jewell College, George Wymore, no relation to the cashier, by the way. That is so funny. It's the same. Was shot and killed during the gang's escape. This senseless killing added a tragic human element to an already shocking robbery. Just, people didn't expect this. This is not the kind of thing that happened in broad daylight. You know, I think people broke into banks at night or something, but just to come in guns ablazing, so to speak, didn't happen. Well, the identity of the robbers was initially a mystery. However, over time, evidence pointed to the James Younger gang, led by the notorious Jesse James and his brother Frank. The involvement in this robbery marked the beginning of their criminal careers and established their reputation as outlaws. Now, in Hansen's novel that I mentioned, The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, the author provides a fictionalized but deeply researched portrayal of Jesse. And while it focuses more on the latter part of his life and his eventual assassination by Robert Ford, it touches upon the elements that made Jesse James a legend, including his earlier exploits like the Liberty Bank robbery. So there's some scenes in the book that talk about it. It's not a scene where it's acted out, so to speak, in the pages, but it's discussed. Other robberies are. His portrayal of James is really complex. He's depicted as both a really ruthless outlaw and a charismatic leader. And this duality is really evident in the Liberty robbery, because you think about this. On the one hand, the robbery was this bold, almost military-like operation. On the other hand, it really was unnecessary to kill this young George Wymore. It's brutal and reckless. So you have that duality there. And something that you really could get out of the book and you can learn is that, James is romanticized quite a bit, but let's just be honest. Yeah. He's a murdering thug. He's horrible. He was a horrible person in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm sure he loved his children and petted dogs, but he killed people. for money and for the thrill of doing it. And he hurt people too. He did a lot of train robberies, and he loved to beat people up and make a big name and try to act like he was this big deal, like he was Robin Hood and all this stuff. But Robin Hood, as I recall, didn't slap people around after he robbed them. So part of the way to understand this, as I mentioned, is these turbulent times. This is 1866 when this robbery occurs. So he was born on September 5th, 1847 in Clay County, Missouri, into a family, as I said, that supported the Confederacy. And during the Civil War, Missouri was this hotbed of guerrilla warfare. And Jesse, along with his brother Frank, joined the pro-Confederate bushwhackers led by William Quantrill and later Bloody Bill Anderson. We're nodding here. Here we go. So Jesse's involvement. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so this is why when Kansas and Missouri used to play before they went to different conferences, this is why this was called the Border War. And when I moved here, and I know you're an outsider too, you came from Oklahoma and I came from Nebraska. I was like, people be like, oh, you can't live on the Kansas side, or oh, you can't live on the Missouri side. And I'm like, I don't care either way. But for people, this is a long storied history. And at some point, I don't want to give away too much, there is something that happened in this town, in Kansas City, Missouri, downtown, that led to Quantrill's raid in Lawrence. But I will leave that cliffhanger for a later date.
Save that one. Yeah, definitely. But this is also incidentally where you get Jayhawkers. They were there, but there's more there. And actually, it's funny. When I first came to town, I worked at our PBS station, and one of our producers two of them did a documentary called about the border war, Blood something. Anyway,
Randy Mason,
Bad Blood. It wasn't Randy. It wasn't. It was a couple of others, but Angie Simmons and Pam. I'm sorry, Pam, I'm blanking on that. But Angie was on my staff, and she was doing this, and she got I think a National Emmy nomination. She didn't win it, but she got one. But anyway, it's good, and my name's in the credits because I was the PR guy. All right, so that's my claim to fame. All right, so his involvement in these brutal guerrilla activities really shaped the future, and as I said, the James Younger Gang's operations were often seen as an extension of the Civil War, right? And so the Clay County Savings Association was just the beginning. Over the years, the James Younger Gang would rob banks, as I said, stagecoaches, and trains across several states. In fact, you should look up Blue Cut Robbery. That's one to read about. That one's toward the end of his life. Did not go as well as he had hoped. Their exploits were both condemned and romanticized. How many dang movies? If you Google these guys, how many times? Leonard Nimoy played Frank James in a 1995 made-for-TV movie called, it's like a sequel to Bonanza, and after all the guys from Bonanza were dead. Anyway, if Nimoy can play Frank James in a TV movie, that just tells you how deep it is steeped into people's consciousness. Anyway,
illogical.
It is quite illogical.
Illogical.
Yes. Yes. I'll be Sulu and say, oh my. All right. So anyway, Jesse James' life, as I keep alluding to with the name of this book and movie that I've read about this, it came to a violent end on April 3rd, 1882, when he was killed by Robert Ford, aka the coward Robert Ford, a member of his own gang who kind of had a lot of hero worship for James. He really did. A younger guy. He looked up to him, and the book kind of posits that he kind of strung him along in a weird way, not like in a homoerotic way or anything, but just kind of strung him along as kind of like being his mentor, the guy he looked up to, and Robert Ford just wanted to be him. He wanted to be like him, and so Jesse used that because he was a sociopath, and strung this guy along. This guy finally realized where it was going, so he shot him in the back of the head while he was straightening a picture frame on the wall. So
that's an interesting side. Can we do a little sidebar?
Sure.
I think Mark David Chapman was at first in love with John Lennon and his music, and then became, because he was nuts, disillusioned. He thought that John Lennon had sold out. So this happens sometimes. So,
but what's interesting? That's a great point, and I'll take Robert Ford allegedly did it because he was motivated by a desire for reward money and a promise of amnesty for all his crimes from the governor of Missouri. But I happen to agree with you. I think he had to find something to he had to make up some excuse to destroy his idol. And I think what you said about Chapman and Lennon, he had to, he sold out. That's it. Yeah, that I have to kill him. Because these people who get so infatuated this way, if they, a lot of them are really sick. If they can't have them, they'll destroy them. Yeah, right. 100%. I mean, Jesse James' wife was in the next room. The kids were playing outside. I mean, he blew him away. And Robert Ford's brother was with him in the same room. He didn't shoot, but he saw the whole thing. So historian Mel Maurer, or Maurer, it's Maurer. Sorry, Mel. Either way, if I know I got it wrong once there. He had this kind of nuanced view where he highlighted the myth and the man, and he made a presentation to the Cleveland Civil War Roundtable, and he quoted poet Carl Sandburg, who said, Jesse James is the only American who is classical, who is to this country what Robin Hood is to England, whose exploits are so close to the mythical. Well, while much of this story is indeed mythologized, let's get back to the hard facts that paint Jesse James for what he was. He was a cold-blooded killer. The man I quoted earlier who said he was the worst man without any exception in America was Robert Pinkerton of the Pinkerton Detective Agency, who was a nemesis of Jesse James. Those two played cat and mouse quite a bit in their lives together. Yet others like John Edwards, who was the editor of the Sedalia Democrat back in the day, portrayed Jesse as a victim of his circumstances. He wrote in Jesse James' obituary that after the war, quote, Jesse James had no home, hunted, shot, driven away, a price upon his head. What else could the man do except what he did? When he was hunted, he turned savagely about and hunted his hunters. I don't know. These conflicting views contribute to this complex legacy I've been trying to say here. And he was a product of these tumultuous times, and he was a symbol of the lingering Confederate resistance during the Reconstruction era. What must it have been like, my friend? This robbery is barely a year. It's not even a year since Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, is it?
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine how the Civil War's over, but Lincoln's dead, Reconstruction is imperiled, all this crap's happening, and people are robbing banks during the broad daylight? I mean, just think about the crazy. We all think we live in the worst, craziest times. Can you imagine that there was a lot of people back then who were thinking, this place has gone to hell in a handbasket? And
you can argue the Civil War started here years before, it started in South Carolina. It was bleeding Kansas or bloody Kansas for a long time. I mean, John Brown and all what was going on. So it was a very violent, horrible place. I mean, Harper's Ferry, right? John Brown and John Brown killed a lot of people in Kansas before he went to Virginia. He had, I think he had the right idea about a lot of things, but he went about it in a way that got him. Yeah. All right. So Maurer also notes the cultural impact of James from early dime novels to modern movies and TV shows. And Jesse James has been portrayed, as I've mentioned, by Brad Pitt, but other actors, Tyrone Power, Robert Wagner, Rob Lowe, and of course, I don't know what the Rob Lowe thing. So let's just moving forward. You got to know what happened to the guy who killed Jesse, right? So what happened to him? It didn't happen in Kansas City, where he was killed, by the way. He was fatally shot by Ford right behind the ear at his rented apartment in St. Joseph, Missouri, just down the road a piece. Yep. So Bob and his brother Charlie, who was in the room at the time when he shot James, surrendered to the authorities, pleaded guilty, and were promptly, guess what? Pardoned by the governor of Missouri. We have another theme. This has happened before.
I knew you would jump right on that, man. Here we go again, right? Here we go again. The, quote, authorities. So Charlie and Bob went on to do a theatrical show reenacting this cowardly murder. They did. They toured like Europe with this show.
This is like
it's crazy.
The lady that killed, what was it, Lulu?
Right.
Kill someone, get off. Yeah, let's do a play about it. Why not?
Well, if I could I'll just step outside this 1 second. His brother Frank never got convicted of anything. He lived to a ripe old age, and in the last 30 years of his life, Frank James, he was a shoe salesman in Nevada, Missouri, and then a burlesque theater ticket taker in St. Louis. He was an AT&T telegraph operator in St. Joe. He got on the lecture circuit. He was a thoroughbred horse trainer. But anyway, one of the things he did, though, here we go again. He was also part of a Chicago investment group which purchased the Fletcher Terrell's Buckskin Bill's Wild West show, which was third in size after the Buffalo Bill and Pawnee Bill shows. And I believe in the movie True Grit, the remake, at the very end, not to give it away, but when the elder Maddie, she goes looking for Rooster, and he's at a Wild West show. That's where he was working. There's two old guys, Bill Tillman and Frank James, sitting there in rocking chairs, and James Brolin Sr. played Frank James in that. It's a cameo. It's a little quick scene. So anyway, Frank James returned to the James farm, right, where they still give tours. He was giving tours for the sum of 25 cents, and he died there at age 72 in 1915, leaving behind his wife, Annie Ralston James, and one son. So his brother, who, by the way, was just as brutal in so many ways, just skated through life. You know, he didn't go to jail, killed people, beat people up, did all that, robbed people, but he did. So anyway, that's just a little bit about him. So anyway, I'm sorry, what?
It's like OJ. OJ gets acquitted. He's out playing golf, doing TikTok, on Instagram, pretty much taunting the Goldman family.
Yeah.
History doesn't ever change. There's just different variations of it.
It's so true, because we tend to look back with rose-colored glasses the past and go, oh, they weren't like that back then. No, man was just as brutal and cold-blooded as we can be today. We just have better technology and better weapons in a lot of ways. I really believe that. Okay, so lastly, Liberty, Missouri, just down the road a piece here from Kansas City. It's part of the metro, we like to say, commemorates this event with historical markers and museum exhibits, and provides a glimpse into a time when Jesse James fearsomely roamed the Midwest, leaving a trail of infamy in his wake. Well, partner, that ends the story of Jesse James' robbery, the Clay County Savings Association in 1866. If I say so, it's a tale of audacity, tragedy, and the birth of an outlaw legend.
You know, so much to unpack. It's interesting to me, and I know when we talked about this last time, and people are probably going to have a drinking game called "When Did Jamie and Alex talk about Deadwood?" But it's fascinating to me that the American West, which is a very short period of time, it's essentially, I mean, if you take out the California Gold Rush period, but it's pretty much the end of the Civil War to roughly early 1905, 1906 is when it's pretty much over. And it has captured the imagination of the American public for decades and decades and decades and decades. I'm not going to list all the things, but we know Gunsmoke and on and on and on. It has been talked about, and I know Kevin Costner is still cashing checks on this. It's fascinating to me that this has been something that is so. Is it nostalgia about it? Is it just because of the fact that there aren't laws? Like, what intrigues Americans about this? And not only Americans, right? People come from other parts of the world to go, when I lived in Arizona, you could go down to Tombstone and you have to, kind of like with, Frank James, you pay a few shekels, you go inside to see where the gunfight happened. Like this stuff still intrigues people.
Yeah, well, my grandfather, I don't know if you know that, he wrote 30 plus Western novels, and he was in tons of pulp Western magazines and stuff like that. And I actually finished his last manuscript after he died a few years ago. He died 20 years ago in August, 21 years ago in August, I think, 22 years. And a few years ago, I had found his old manuscript he left me, and I published it for him, and I put a lot of his writings and letters and things in there as well. I just kind of made it just kind of a love letter to my grandpa, who I adored. He believed, he was a historian too, so his books were very accurate. I mean, he'd have Judge Parker, the hanging judge from Fort Smith, in it. He'd have that kind of thing. He would weave people you could find in history, but he always was scrupulous about it. And but I would ask him, well, what is this? What is this romance? I'm from Oklahoma City, where we have you used to call it just the Cowboy Hall of Fame. Now it's the Cowboy and Western Heritage Hall of Fame. But you would think, based on what you just said, by the way, contrary to what you just said, you would think with that big of a museum and with this big of a multimedia complex surrounding Westerns in the Western era, that it had to have been this way. And he told me, he says, he took liberties with gunplay and things like that because people expect it. I mean, he was competing with Louis L'Amour and Charlie Portis and others to sell books. But he told me, he said, most Western towns people were just concerned with making enough living to live every year. Most people did not walk around with a gun on their hip. Most people weren't looking for trouble. Well, I mean, if you get back to Tombstone, what was the problem there? What really was it? Well, besides the fact that the Earps were every bit as crooked as the Cowboys, but they were despicable people. But they had a rule: guns get left, when you come into town. And the Cowboys, they called themselves Cowboys. The red sash guys, right? Yeah. They were like, no. And then it was like a clash of wills, and it was about a 30-second gunfight, so it's, I think see, when I want to say this is bad, that it's not a good thing to fixate on, but there is something about it. Does speak to the American spirit. Of course, there's going to be plenty of people who will rightfully say, well, your westward expansion did it. Nearly genocide against the native peoples, definitely almost wiped out buffaloes. I mean, all these things that were done. But I don't know. I love Westerns because of my grandpa. Some of my favorite movies are Westerns. And I just recently watched Lonesome Dove again.
It's great.
And you just fall in love with that. And that's pretty realistic too, because most of the people in that did meet a great end. It was pretty rough life, but I thought it was very realistic. And I remember at the time my grandpa said, yeah, this is a lot more like how it really was. That's a long way of me saying that I think it does scratch a certain itch for Americans, but it's also probably one of the 2 or 3 things that we as a culture has put into the world. I would say jazz is another thing.
Yeah.
I would say that, believe it or not, musical theater is a product of America. I mean, modern musical theater. There's certain cultural things that come out of it, and I think the Old West is another one of those things that is just married to our culture, and that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah, and I think there's this idea in America of independence that you are living off the land.
Rugged individual.
Right, totally. And I think that there's this fantasy world that we see play out horribly all the time. The way that you mete out your own justice is by drawing a gun and shooting people, which is a total fantasy. But it feels good. In the abstract, this idea that you're, there's a vengeance factor, that you are righting a wrong and doing it not through the court. I mean, hell, even I was just telling my younger son, because you probably do this too, like with your family, you get on these like kicks of like, what did you watch when you were a kid? And we were talking about Big Valley. Yeah. And the joke I said, he was asking me about the characters and stuff. And I said, oh, we all like Nick because, Jared, the older brother, he was the attorney. He always just wanted to litigate it and try to find peace out of it. And Nick would just put on his leather gloves and just go beat the crap out of somebody. And it's a 17-year-old boy that's watching the time. Like, that's much more satisfying.
Oh yeah. Well, absolutely. Yeah. And John Wayne, there's this great, the last movie he did, The Shootist, and I can't quote it from memory, but basically he says there's a great quote, because I went to the John Wayne Museum, by the way, or earlier this year. I drove up there with a buddy. Yes, I did. In Iowa.
It's in Iowa somewhere.
And it's in Iowa. It's the same town where the Bridges of Madison County is from too. So you get a twofer. Although I found the Bridges utterly boring, but the John Wayne Museum, but they have a great film you can sit there and watch when you get there, like for like a 10-15 minute film. But it's this great scene in The Shootist where he's telling Ron Howard's character, the boy who's looking up to him, he's like, I think it's like I don't remember the lines, but I'd love to find that clip. But it's like I won't be talked down. He says, I won't be talked to a certain way. I will not have my hands put on me as I would not put hands on someone else. And, it's this whole litany of things that he rattles off about what he will and will not put up with as a man and as an American, by golly. And, it works. It kind of works the way he does it. And I think that's what you're saying too. But it's the whole thing, though. It's sad, though, that we're in this perverse world where people do whip out guns. I mean, I don't want to bring us down, but there's somebody just blocks from where I used to live, a restaurateur. He was taking out the trash. He sees somebody messing with a car. Yeah. Not even, we're not even talking a dark alley here, folks. It's broad daylight. It's a Clay County Savings Bank all over. But they didn't rob him. They just shot him dead because he had the nerve to interrupt them when they were messing with the car.
It was his car trying to steal it. Yeah.
Is that what it was? It's just so really is it's life is so cheap in that regard, and that's heartbreaking. But I think when we mythologize and idolize outlaws, this used to bug me a little bit. You talked about Deadwood, and we do it. It's because it's fun. It's a great show. But I mean, I used to have an Al Swearingen for President T-shirt, for goodness sake. I mean, that guy was despicable. He was horrible. What am I doing? Or people who watch Sopranos. Oh my God, I want to be like Tony. I'm like, no, these are murdering thugs. These are bad people. Why are we doing this? Anyway, Walter White on Breaking Bad. There's a point where he's no longer the hero. When he's Heisenberg, he's bad. Look at me. You got me, dude. You got me wound up. Why am I? I'm going to calm down. You're calm down. Telling you, man.
This is good. So yeah, people, Liberty to this day, the bank isn't the bank now. It's just like some little museum in downtown Liberty. Yep. I've seen it.
You can go there.
I've been in it.
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, go check it out. Go see Kansas City.
Yeah, man.
As we said when we started this podcast, we have a long storied history of murder and violence.
And you can go see the Jesse James homestead. They've moved it. I believe it's in St. Joe. They've moved it. My daughter's been there with her grandparents. I've never been there. But I asked her how it was, and she was like 11. She goes, it's all right. A lot of old stuff.
Right. Totally. Yeah. And to her, old stuff is us. So think how old that must have been.
Gosh. Oh, you got that right.
This is great. And, I think we've talked too. We are a murder true crime podcast. We're also going to try to little edification for you folks. You're going to learn something, which was one of the nice reviews. We've gotten lots of nice reviews, and somebody said, I had no idea all these things happen in this town. So we appreciate that, and we're glad that you are getting something out of it. So that was a good one. Down in the show notes, yes, our website is what you go to. Alex will put that's what Alex is, our web keeper. He is the one that does that. I don't do that. So he will put all those links in there. Including our yummy drink, which I finished, and it was Fabo, and I might have to have a second.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's good stuff.
It was good. So thanks so much for that. Once again, we've got a live event. You asked for it. We're giving it to you October 16th, which means October's episode will not come out on October 15th. It's going to be a few days late because I, have to come home and edit it. So expect it on like the 17th for part 1. And then part 2 will be the week after.
But we're, like you said, you're gonna if you go, you get to hear the whole 2 parts.
You get the whole. There's no cliffhanger for you folks.
Yeah, you get that. Now, don't spoil it for other people. We'll remind you at the thing. But if you go, you get to know before anybody else does. And October 16th, I'll put it in your scissors and scotch. What was that time again? Just for people who just don't want to go look it up.
4 to 6 p.m. and we are working. They are talking with us. We are going to have some of our favorite drinks of the last 15 months. They will have them. They'll have the mixes ready to go, and you can order. So, when you've listened to us talk all these months, if there's a certain drink that you like the most, whether it's what was your drink at Swope Mansion that had that blackberry juice in it, that thing was yummy.
Oh, jeez, I got to remember that was good.
I'm the rudimentary drink guy, so you just want a tequila sunrise. You can get one of those. We'll figure it out, but it'll be a good time. You'll get to see us in person again, and we always have a great time doing it. So that will be on October 16th. So
I'll be giving away some books, believe it or don't, if you're interested. And they are not true crime; they are fake crime. But I hope you would enjoy them. Yeah, so we'll do that.
So that's it. So Alex is writing. I can see this. So let me know when you are ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready. You tell me. I want my clue.
All right, and this will make my poor departed father would enjoy this because he was a big band guy. So this is a play on a big band tune. It is Slaying at the Savoy. Slaying at the Savoy, not stopping, but Slaying at the Savoy. And this one's
by the way, I'm excited by this, but I thought of your dad the other day. In my car, I got a different car, and I still got the satellite, and I got the 40s jazz channel, and I adore all the big band stuff. And I'll tell you what, people can laugh, but you know it very well. You play a lot of big band at home. A lot of your dad's record collection.
Yeah,
that stuff's fantastic. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
There's nothing.
Just love it.
It's
The
like
energy.
the power of a big band. You have to, if you've never seen a big band in person, you got to go. It's really cool.
But this is not big band, but I've got to give a shout out. We lost somebody really who I thought was great. I mean, he was not a rat packer, but he had that vibe. We lost Moondoggy himself, James Darren. We lost James Darren at age 86 or 8. I'm not sure. Star Trek fans, you'll remember him from Deep Space Nine. He played the holographic lounge singer Vic Fontaine. Crime fans, here's a Shatner. Here's another Star Trek thing. He was Shatner's sidekick on T.J. Hooker back in the 80s. Remember? Oh yeah, right. Oh my gosh,
that's when we had 3 channels.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's right. And next on the Love Boat. Right. Yeah, but James Darren,
because there's nothing else.
Because there's nothing else. We could go watch nature on Channel 13. I guess
we're so old. My parents and your parents probably did the same. They'd be like, we were the remote control. They would tell us to get on the couch and change the channel or turn the volume 100%. Up or down for them. That was how it
Did
worked.
You have a big console TV? Big wooden console?
The TV that my parents bought to watch the moonwalk in 1969 is still in my basement of my mom's house. And she wants me to take it. And so I'm going to do something with it. And
does it work?
Irony, well, who knows? Because you have to have an adapter to get it to actually, it turns on, but you can't get any over-air broadcast anymore because it all went to digital.
I have an antenna on my house, my basement, my bar, the Green Shabby. That way I can switch over and get local channels. It's great. I love it. There's a lot of channels. You can get like 20, 25 channels out of the air. Some of them good.
They're all analog, though. You have to have an adapter to pick up those digital channels. They've all been to digital.
You'll need a digital converter and then plug that into your. You are correct, because I'm plugging it into an old plasma TV that's got a what do you call it, a Fire Stick in it. So
there you go. All right, folks, don't rob a bank. Please go to the website. Please tell West Bottom Whiskey that you listen to us and love them, and have a drink and go down to their site. We will be back online in later October for our double-edged Halloween special, but come see us in person. Come see us and drink and be stupid in person. So until next time, talk soon.
We do whatever it takes to get you the in-depth info on local schools you won't find anywhere else. Things like student-teacher ratio, test scores, and school programs. And sometimes that requires attending school recitals. So many recitals.
That's my son. Isn't he terrific?
Yeah, a real prodigy. Homes.com. Ding dong. We've done your homework.